me out. Aromatherapy can actually help with spring allergies, but it has nothing to do with pretty smells. It has to do with things like 1,8-cineol and alpha-pinene, but we'll get to that in just a minute. I'm Kristen, this is Kristen Unpoisoned, and on this channel, we take the poison out of everyday living, and today, we're going to do that by making 3 aromatherapy recipes to help support the body during spring allergy season. And we're going to look into how to choose those oils by looking into the scientific research. I'm trying to be really frugal right now, so instead of buying any new essential oils, I thought I'd be creative and only use what I have on hand right now. This is what I'm working with. They all have different therapeutic benefits, but I chose these ones to work with today. Let's take a look at why. You'll want to look at each essential oil you're considering using, look up their batch-specific GCMS report, look at what the report tells you is the main components of that oil, and then look up those components to see what their therapeutic benefits are. Now that sounds kind of confusing, but it's actually quite simple. I'll show you how with Ravensara. Now since I got my Ravensara oil from aromatics.com, we're going to go on to aromatics.com to look up the batch-specific GCMS report for this oil. Here we are on the Aromatics website. It's aromatics.com. I just need to go type in Ravensara in the search bar. Ravensara, and it should pop up. There we go. Ravensara oil. Okay, here we go. So I'm going to scroll down to where it says GCMS data there at the bottom. Open that up, just click into it. And we'll look here where it says the batch numbers and the drop down menu here. Now we can see my Ravensara oil is RSA-116. So that's what I need to choose from here, and we'll go to its batch specific GCMS report. There we go. Okay, so we see it has a lot of 1,8-cineol at 54.82%. It's got a lot of other components, but none of them come close to the 54 percentage. Okay, yeah, so none of those are even close. So we know the main component of my Ravensara oil is 1,8-cineol at 54.82%, and that's pretty significant. So the next thing we'll do is take 1,8-cineol here. I'm just going to copy it so that it's spelled correctly. I'm going to go into Google, put 1,8-cineol benefits, PubMed. So we're using PubMed here because that's a place you can find scientific research open to the public. A lot of the times it's just the abstract, but you can still glean some pretty important information just from an abstract. So we'll do that here. Okay, the first thing that pops up here, anti-inflammatory, antioxidant, antimicrobial, bronchial. So let's look into here and see what this says. A versatile phytochemical with therapeutic applications across multiple diseases. That's promising. It's highlighted the first part here for us. Naturally occurring, a long history of use in traditional medicine. Anti-inflammatory, antioxidant, antimicrobial, bronchodilatory, analgesic, which means pain relieving, and respiratory disorders. Now that's what we're looking for, since I was looking to use that for, a spring respiratory issue. So that sounds good there. All right, so we know we are on the right page here, using Ravensara for this because it's been studied and used for this in the past. So you could go back and you can see there's a bunch of other articles that you could read as well. And if you'd like to spend the time reading all the research that's been done there, that's amazing, and you can do that. I won't use our time today to go through every one of those. The next thing that you can do is go back to the Aromatics International page for the Ravensara. We're just going to go back to go to its Ravensara main page. Here we go. So now, I feel like since we've read a little bit of research for ourselves, now we can go back and read the description that's for the oil that the company who has sold me the oil has written. I think it's important for people to be able to read some of the research themselves and not only be relying on, the company that's selling you something to also educate you. So that's just an easy, quick way to do some research on your own. But now we can look here. Talking about 1,8-cineol. Excellent choice for opening the breath, protecting immunity against seasonal threats, and feeling mentally sharp. So we know this is a good choice. And then if we scroll down, it'll show us the therapeutic and aromatic properties. So like we just discovered from reading that PubMed article, it's analgesic, antispasmodic, antifungal, anti-inflammatory, and antimicrobial. And we'll see how they suggest to use it here. Let's see, cold season, immune support. Okay, so we know we're on the right path there with that. All right, so we know now that Ravensara is a great choice to use for our spring allergy blends. That may seem like a lot, but it's really, really important stuff. Otherwise, you're just trusting other people who may or may not know what they're talking about. So this is a really, really important process if you want to make blends that actually make sense and are actually going to do what you want them to do. People don't really know what they're talking about, but I want you to know what you're talking about. So let's do one more oil. Just to show you that process one more time, we'll do it faster. And this time we're going to look at the oil Frankincense Sacra. Let me know if you find this useful by leaving a like on this video. Thanks. Alright, so since my Frankincense Sacra oil came from Aromatics, we're going to stay on this Aromatics International page. Alright, so we're scrolling to the bottom, finding the GCMS report. So we'll click down, click into there. That'll bring us to the GCMS page. Okay, now I check my oil. My batch number is FRS110. We see alpha pinene here. Is pretty big. Well, huge really, 67.83%. So most of the oil consists of this alpha pinene component. Let's just scroll through, see if anything even competes. Yeah, so it's got a lot of different components here, but the main component by a landslide is alpha pinene. So you see I copied alpha pinene. I'm going to go back over here. So instead of 1.8 cineal benefits PubMed, I'm going to change that to what I just copied there. Alpha pinene benefits PubMed. Let's search. Okay, so we could also click into the scholarly articles here, but let's just look at the summary. Alpha beta pinene, cytogenic, gastroprotective. Oh, look at this one, respiratory tract. Great. Let's just give a quick look at it. Alpha pinene has been used to treat respiratory tract infections for centuries, which is great. Yep, we're looking for respiratory stuff. Okay. Oh, it'd be great if we had access to this whole paper so we could actually read. All right. Well, that's great information. So we know that it's been used to treat respiratory tract infections, and that it's great for anti-inflammatory purposes. So now we're going to go back to the oils main page on the Aromatics website. Make it bigger here. So what they're saying about it as a company is it's got a soothing scent, it brings peace and purity to your skin, blah, blah, blah. Therapeutic and aromatic properties, we'll open that. Okay, so it's analgesic, which means pain relief. Mucolytic, which is amazing, we definitely want that for our blend. Antimicrobial, antifungal, immunostimulant, anti-inflammatory, antispasmodic, great. And we'll just see the suggested uses that they use. Skincare, optimism, cold season for breathing. Perfect. Okay. All right, so we know that Frankincense Sacra is also a good choice. The main two ways to use essential oils are through skin absorption and inhalation. The benefit to inhalation is that it's going to act fast. It gets right into your bloodstream really quickly. If you want relief that's a bit more prolonged, that's where you're going to go with skin application. The three that we'll make today are 2 inhalers and 1 roll-on. The inhalers are going to really help with the acute situation going on. If you happen to step outside and get a whiff of the pollen that makes you all crazy, an inhaler is really going to be very helpful. So we're going to make 2 different inhalers and also a roll-on. So the roll-on is just going to absorb steadily over a much longer period of time and give you relief for longer. An inhaler you'll keep using, but the roll-on you'll put on once and it'll be set for quite a while. So I really wanted to make 2 inhalers today instead of just 1, just to demonstrate that you can make inhalers for different purposes to support your body in different ways. The first inhaler is really 1/8 cineol focused. It's really going to open the breath and really support the respiratory system in that way. The second inhaler I really wanted to be more of like a general, well-rounded inhaler, so I wanted to have essential oils with lots of different components in it to support different parts of health. To make an inhaler, you'll need inhaler wicks, the actual inhaler itself, tweezers, and a little glass bowl. We're going to start with Ravensara. We'll do 7 drops right on the wick here. Then we'll do 5 drops of tea tree. And lastly, we'll do 3 drops of laurel leaf. Okay, now that we have everything on our wick that we need, I'll go ahead and get the inhaler. This is just the body of the inhaler. We've popped off the bottom of it. So all this with the tweezers here. move this around to make sure to pick up any extra drops that may have missed their mark. Then I'll stick the wick right in the body of the inhaler there and press the bottom onto it. And I will demonstrate how to use this in just a minute, but next we're going to make our second inhaler. Alright, now we're ready for inhaler number 2. We've got our new wick and our new inhaler. So we're using German chamomile, frankincense, sacra, and Siberian fir. Okay, so I'm going to start with German chamomile. I'm going to do 7 drops. If you get extra drops in there, that's okay. Next, we're going to do frankincense, sacra, 5 drops. And lastly, Siberian fir. We'll do 3 drops. Okay, now that we have all the essential oil on the wick, I'm just going to pick up the tweezers and get any extra out of the bowl onto the wick here. Now we'll take the empty inhaler tube, put the wick right inside there, and pop the bottom onto it. This is how you use an inhaler. So first you're going to unscrew the cap. Just set that to the side. Then you'll cover one nostril and breathe in really deeply. And breathe out through your mouth. When you're breathing in deep, imagine your lungs like a balloon that's really filling up. So you'll just repeat that process of covering one nostril, breathing in really deeply through your nose, and then breathing out through your mouth as many times as you need to for you to start feeling better.
I feel good.
Now we're ready to make our roll-on. We've got our jojoba oil here, we've got our roll-on bottle, our pipette, and our 3 essential oils. We're going to use Rose Absolute, Palo Santo, and Juniper Berry. The first thing I'll do is open the jojoba oil here and use the pipette to fill about halfway. Okay, and we'll fill that up the rest of the way in a minute, but now we'll add the essential oils to the roll-on. We'll do 1 drop of Rose Absolute, 2 drops of Palo Santo, and then 3 of Juniper Berry. And you'll just drop it right into the roll-on container here. Okay, now that we have all the essential oils in there, I'm going to fill the rest of the bottle with jojoba, near the top but not all the way. Now we need to put the roller top on it, and I've got it sitting inside the cap here. So we'll just set it on top and then push it in. Alright, so there it is. Now we've got our roll-on. Before you use it, of course, shake it up, make sure everything is nicely distributed in there. We'll just rub it on your chest. It might take it a minute to get rolling the first time you use it, just because the roller ball has to, get used to moving around. You'll just reapply that as often as necessary, maybe a few times a day, until your symptoms abate. Let me know what you think when you try these, and if you have any ideas that you want me to cover, let me know in the comments as well. If you like this, go ahead and watch my video on how to make a bug spray next. Keep living an unpoisoned life, and I'll see you next time.